Everybody, my name is Grant from CPT. We're out here on the ramp at Luxembourg Airport. I have a morning flight here scheduled, and we've got some pretty rough weather, so I think we're going to be flying instrument flight rules, and we're doing a short hop. Expecting some turbulent conditions, but overall pretty calm. Let's hop in the cockpit and let's get started. I'm going to be doing a checklist flight, so let's bring up the checklist. Some of my equipment here is already on, and the lights, of course, so you guys can see. So let's go ahead and first of all get the door shut. Pretty chilly morning actually. The OAT is about -2, -3 there. Door is secure. The seatbelts are non-existent. This is a pretty old and retro looking plane actually. It's 60s, 70s style, so you can really see this sort of I don't know what the word is. Is this nostalgic? This is a very specific kind of interior design here, and almost like a fabric style along the edge of the doors. But it's a very, very nice plane, and it's very, very fast. It's probably one of the fastest twin pistons in the world, and it probably is one of the fastest planes I've flown. Anyway, I don't know if that's a development thing or whether it's actually the aircraft, but it's can easily go in cruise up to 246 knots. I know the maximum speed here is so like 240, but obviously this is indicated. We're talking about true speed. But still, look at this. This speed here would be similar to a Baron, I guess. A Baron can't go this fast, but it can go pretty close. Unfortunately, this Aerostar 601P is pressurized, but today we don't need initially something called Groston. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The DME, and that's going to direct us sort of around some turbulent weather, and then we'll continue on to the final destination of Lima Foxtrot, Quebec, Papa, Phalsbourg Bourscheid Airport. Hopefully, you're all in for the ride, so let's get started. So the pre-flight inspection is complete, and by the way, you can check the items off of this list, which I find extremely useful. Seats locked, cabin door secured, landing gear is down, we've got greens, actually no, landing gear is up, so this is why it's good to do pre-flight checks. I'm not sure why that's in the up position, but let's go ahead and put that down. We have 3 greens, let's just check that as well. Brilliant. Flaps are up as well, let me just check that. So on this aircraft, the flaps can't be raised up when you're on the ground, they can put in the neutral position. Test the brakes, let's press for firmness. I'm going to put the brake on. That's, I guess, a sort of a hydraulic pressure reset system. And then we'll check the flight controls. Parking brake set switches, right. So nothing is off at the moment because we've sort of semi-prepped. And for some reason, even though we're in Europe, we're squawking 1200 when it should be 7000. So everything was off when I got in. Bleed air. So bleed air switches. On this is down here, everybody. Let's go ahead and put that on, and we want this on normal and dump. If unpressurized, only orange light actually, so let's leave that on. Door seal 2 switches deflated. In order to get that to illuminate, you do need to go up here to the electric door seal, and that will then show a light down here. So deflate, and this is probably one of the few flights I'm going to do in this aircraft which is depressurized, and yeah. Let's get that to full increase. So they're all done. Landing gear has 3 greens. The elevator and rudder trim is sort of semi-neutralized. I did watch the tutorial by the Aerostar Owners Association on YouTube, and it's a very, very good video. And it actually says in this aircraft, the 601P specifically, you are in fact meant to put it to 1 notch up. Now, yeah, that's just very, very interesting. So not actually neutralized as we think, so I'm going to leave it in that position for now. Rudder trim is fine. Hydraulic shut-off valve is down here, so it's actually closed for some reason, but it's open now. Fuel quantity. Okay, so we're actually low. Now, you can tell we're low because this is sort of getting to this sort of 12 gallon zone, and this is when the low fuel light will illuminate. Not so much for the wings. It's one of the few planes actually that I've flown that, you know, not only does it fly very differently to how I'm used to, but it also has very different systems. And one is the fuel system. So rather than taking it primarily from the tanks in the wings, it will take the fuel from the system in the middle, so the fuselage. So you could fly with empty wings and a full fuselage of fuel, and you will be absolutely fine. Right, fuel quantity, let's get that refueled. So we have our own sort of weight and balance here. Dedicated weight and balance. We are transferring 2 people today. Hello back there. Welcome aboard Grantham Corporate. So yeah, about 10 gallons. I'm actually going to leave the wing tanks as they are and just fill up the fuselage. So I'm going to be doing litres on this very, very handy converter here, which is every unit possible. You know, gallons, kilos, pounds, and litres. What we got in baggage, let's just get that out a sec. Let's put about 100 litres into the fuselage. That should be enough. So we can do fuel planning. For the sake of this flight, I'm going off with my previous experience, and then we can stick, you know, maybe 20 kg of baggage in the back. So that's all checked. Low fuel was never illuminated. And actually, one of the things about this model is, when you switch the battery on with the engines, and even if you've got them switched off, the alternator illuminations here will not illuminate. As you can see, the gear is also not illuminating green. This used to happen on apparently the X-Plane 11 version, but the alternators, they never illuminate. I don't know if they're, you know, functional. Very few things off of this panel actually light up. It does look great, but functionality wise, just not there. So warning lights, we just tested that. Let's go ahead and test the fire. Okay, they function. Differential pressure, engine RPM, and let's just kick the AC off. Circuit breakers can be popped out. Quite a lot, not all of them, but the majority of them. Cabin rate controls, that's full increase. Now I'm going to leave it about, it's already set to about 7.5, so let's set it to 1,000 feet, which is 1,000 feet above ground level. We're going to get in like the real 601P would have a hectopascals probably on one side and inches on the other. There's also no clock here. There's an empty space here, like they were going to put a clock in, but there's nothing. Altimeter is going to be set, so let's get the QNH of X-Planes map. I'm using real world time and weather. Standard pressure, so that's 299.2 in American terms. Prop control, so we're going to do props fully forward. The blade changes position, which is a very, very cool thing. Rarely see that actually on add-ons nowadays. So prop control, mixtures, I'll cut off. Let's crank the throttles a little bit. Okay, X feed, so we want that go to X feed, and then on. Same thing on the right side. Listen for valve actuation. So, in order to hear the actual actuation, you're better off turning the fuel pumps on. You can hear the switch, but you can't actually hear the actuation unless there's fuel going through it. Okay, right prop, let's clear. So, clear prop. No windows here, guys. Engine's just about come alive. There was a little bit of a battery issue. Batteries were fine though, and voltage. I did give them a quick charge, so it must have been on a bit long, so the batteries can in fact go dead. Let's go for a headset. Left engine fuel pump. As you can see there, the actuation is fine. Let's get the checklist back open. Set for 1,000 RPM on the right side. Throttle oil is good. all in the green zone, so it does take a while on this plane to warm up the oil. The same with the cylinder head temperatures as well. So right fuel pump off, and then we're going to repeat the same for the left side. The gyro pressure is actually not coming alive, which is odd. Clear the left prop. The navs. And unfortunately in this aircraft the strobes and the beacons are tied together, so when you turn the beacons on you have the strobes on as well. It's also very foggy, so let's just stick them on anyway. But we're not going to use any taxi though, or take flights, and then we can warm the engine up as we taxi, so let's just reduce that back. It'll take a while. We're going to do the run up when we get to the runway, so I'll see you then. Yeah, everybody, we're coming into this sort of run up zone, and the airport has in fact caters for the run up, so there's a little bit of a grid zone over here and a little bit of a space to do a run up, which is great. And there's the windsock, so as you can see we need to face in that direction, but yeah, very cool. I'm going to do a quick turn around here, so as you can see this little area. This is why I taxied to this particular part, so it was on the outer edges of the taxiway, and it's also perfect for the run up. Cool, so we can avoid prolonged idling. We are around 1000 RPM. The engine there is coming up to the green zone, and we can't really take off until it's in this green zone. Same as the cylinder head temperature. It is cold, so we probably could have done with an engine heater. Not in the green yet, so let's just warm them up about 1400. And this is actually prior to the warm up, prior to the ground test. We're in the wind, we've got high RPM, mixtures are rich. Let's just give it a few more seconds in a minute or two, and I'll see you when it's warmed up. So green zone there on the oil and the cylinder, and the pressure is looking good still. Just warmed up there for about a couple of minutes. The run up on this thing can vary, of course, depending on the model and depending on the specific plane. So 1500 is set. Alternator load is down here. Consumption is pretty good. Production is pretty good. So props, we move each one forward 3-4 times to about 1000 RPM, and then when it gets to 1000 we just advance it. There we go, so drop 1000, then back up. And that's going to warm up the engine a little bit more. I say 3 times at the most is enough to do it. Very cautious here, not to advance them too slowly or too fastly. There we go, it's about 3-4 times. You can do it together if you want to, but I think individually you'll save issues. 100 RPM. And we're going to do a magneto check, the old magneto. Let's do the left side first. We're looking for 175 max. And differential of about 50. It's looking about 75 on the left, and the when I talk about left, I mean the left engine. Right engine is not quite as pronounced, but there's still a drop. It's 4.8 to 5.2. So yeah, I don't think it's simulated, but obviously if you have a magneto check and it shows a big drop in the RPM that's more than you would expect and outside of the limitations, then you probably have something called spark plug fouling, which is where, you know, if you idle the engine too long, you get lead deposits inside of the certain parts of the engine. So that's why we keep them up, and we keep them not idle. And apparently you are meant to lean the mixtures on the ground in the Aerostar. It's not on the checklist, but that's what the Owners Association videos recommend. Just going to lean that while we're here to prevent it as well. As I say, that will stop spark plug fouling. So cabin seal is now going to go to inflated. So we're going to stay at 0. So left, right. Forward and back. Let's just do a cross control. So up on the left, up on the right. And of course we can't really see the elevator from here. Let's have a quick glance back. Yeah, there's no view of it. We'll assume it is functional. We did check it on the pre-flight walk around. So mixtures fully rich, props fully forward, fuel selectors check in and on positions. Crossfeed warning light is out, load warning is out as well. Fuselage is above 12 gallons, which is sort of when the low fuel light will illuminate. Boost pumps for each engine. Instruments check and set. So we've got the program there. We're not going to be going direct to our destination. We need to go direct to this one too. And as you can see, we're on the radial 332. So we can actually set the radial now of 332. We set the heading onto the runway and the course onto 332. So about there. So we need to be heading to the opposite direction of about 154, and that will take us in the right place. So the radial will usually be it's an easy way to remember, not always accurate though, but it's usually the opposite direction to what it says. So if it says 332, the radial, it will be the opposite direction to that. Anyway, instruments checked, flaps. I'm going to go for 20 degrees because it's a little bit rough on the weather. Trim tab, so again we need the neutralize, but on this plane apparently you can leave it in the 1 notch up position. Pitot heat, we do need it, it's foggy and cloudy. Cabin heat and fan heat, and let's go down here for the lower heat and temperature on. Because it's so fast, you can get away with not having full manifold, so you can probably go up to about 25 and it'll be fine. You can leave the RPM fully forward, or you can bring the propellers back a little bit. So on takeoff, if you want to avoid the overspeed warning, you can bring them back indication, and that will prevent it from overspeeding. Cool, let's get going. And landing lights on, of course. going to continue, and we're planning for runway 24 based on the wind. So go back here, we have an ILS frequency of 11015, which is kind of already programmed in. Now, because we're getting up to this waypoint, we're going to be switching the NDB anyway, so which means we can switch from the GTQ to the ILS frequency, and then we can just follow the NDB. It looks very, very beautiful this morning. Completely mod-free. The only plugins I use, let me show you, are these. Some of those are coming with the aircraft, like payware aircraft I bought, but mostly just the X checklist, X pilots, Avitab, and better pushback. That's it. There's no modifications to the actual base game. There's no graphical improvements. It's just X-Plane 12, and it does look absolutely wonderful. So please enjoy it. Cruise trim was successful. Let's go for a descent unpressurized. So fuel select is on and power as desired, and initiate descent, and then we'll do before landing checklist. So we'll be coming in. It looks like let's clear the flight plan, make the map a little bit nice and neat. Yeah, so straight and downward. Let's adjust our course as appropriate there. So we're heading the opposite direction to 24. NDB there, we'll be putting it off hopefully to our 3 o'clock. QNH will be set, so I have downloaded conversion charts which can be conveniently uploaded into the plain sort of onboard documentation holder, and we've got 1017, so it translates as 3003, and you can get those online and just put them in yourself. So as I say, this is meant to be instrument flight rules today, although we are going to try and do as much visual of flying as we can do. We've booked out for an IFR, so let's go ahead and stick our landing lights on. I've increased the descent rate so we get down probably about to 2,000 feet, and we're going to do the U-turn any second, probably when we're a little bit lower down, but we're only 12.9 nautical miles out anyway, so when we do the U-turn we should be perfectly set up then for final. I'll see you then on the approach. very dark here though. We've managed to miss. The weather landing was pretty good as well. Parking brake is set, so engines are idle. Check magnetos for grounding. Momentarily switching them off and back to both. Wonder is tied into that, but we'll turn it off anyway. Door seal deflates. Mixture controls. Idle cut off. Get our strobes and our nav lights and our cabin lights turned off. And then just stop left and right magneto switches. Fuel selectors off. Magnetos and battery keepers. There's a full checklist flight in the Aerostar 601 pressurized. It was originally designed by Ted Smith. Complicated history, but still pretty interesting. Okay, let's get our chokes and coders on. What a beautiful morning flight. Thank you for joining Grunt from CPT, and I will see you in this plane on the next video hopefully, and see you soon. Take care.